So, this is recording number one for the murder story. Let's call it, right now, Industrial City Murders. I guess we'll start out just as that. I'm not sure what yet. I got characters. Names I can't remember. I put them down at one time and I don't remember what I did with them, but we can rename everybody. It's not a big deal. Just to go over quickly what the story is about again. Our main character is going to be the murderer. He's also a detective, very respected but hated. Real dickweed, very smart, very manipulative. Everything about him is manipulative. Everything about him is evil. I mean evil. Super control freak. He's a super neat freak, but he'll put his hands in shit if it's to make himself look better. Sorry about the Harleys in the background and shit. Noises in the background, chainsaws. My bad. But maybe if I turn this way, it won't do so much. Anyways, he's just a really, really bad guy. His partner is going to be a very sweet guy, but kind of a loser. People want to like him, but he's such a loser that it's pathetic. The bad guy cop winds up manipulating his partner and the bad cop's wife to have an affair. There's a baby that's made out of it. The bad guy loves it because it gives him leverage over both of them now. They're afraid to tell him because of his temper. He abuses his wife verbally, but never physically. But super manipulative and controlling. The abuse is mental, very mental. Hannibal Lecter bullshit. That type of mental. His wife is going to be really sweet, very nice, of course. The perfect target for him. She will have been abused as a child, kind of thing. Daddy issues, of course, all that. The boy is growing up. He's a teenager now, in high school. He's dabbling in drugs. His dad is actually the partner, the good cop. I'm gonna call him right now. So he doesn't want to cause waves because the wife called the affair off after she got pregnant. She was scared to death her husband was going to find out, afraid he'd hurt a baby, afraid he would hurt the partner, the whole nine. So she really loved the partner, and still likes him a lot, but she wants to protect him by not being around him, if that makes sense. She doesn't know just how violent her husband actually is. Then the murders, I want the murders to be brutal. I mean, super brutal. Medieval, brutal kind of shit. I want to come up with some really nasty murders. Very. And he's going to be his murders are going to be chaotic. It's like, they're all going to be linked together. You'll know it's the same murderer, but the styles are going to be different every time. The victims are going to be different. He's going to leave little trails behind that points to his partner, the good cop. So in the end, if they start getting close, other people, meaning, see, he's going to be working this case himself. So he's going to be working his own case. So that keeps them always on the edge of just being, he gives them just enough information. We're like, yeah, you called that right, but we just missed him, kind of thing. And he'll put it off on his partner is missing him, and later that'll show that his partner was trying to cover his own tracks, kind of thing. He's really setting the guy up. And as things progress, the good cop gets the lead. He goes to where he thinks the next murder is going to be. He leaves a message on his partner's phone, the bad cop, and so the bad cop gets the message like right as the murder is finishing. So he has to clean up real quick. He's always really good about leaving only the evidence that he wants to leave there, and but he has to clean up really fast. And due to that, he's going to miss something small, and it's going to come back later, and I'll explain it when it comes back how that works. Anyways, good cop's going to come in, chase him out of the scene. Like, he's going to just barely see, he's going to see him go out the window to the fire escape. Of course, that old stick. Let's go down the fire escape, rooftops, alleyways, blah, 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 whatever. This town is, our city is, industrial city is super dark all the time. It's drizzling rain. Never rains hard enough to wash the black industrial soot off of shit. So there's always a fine black face powder on everything, and it's always runny and muddy and nasty. Anyway, they're running through, and it's foggy, steam coming out of pipes and shit like that. Anyways, the good cop takes a pop shot at the guy with a gun. Bam, hits him, drops him. The bad cop hits the ground, and the good cop gets up on top of him and sees it's his partner. Well, he thinks his partner was there at the scene because he texted him and told him to meet him there. He didn't know he was chasing the murderer, so he just thought he accidentally shot his buddy. The little background on the good cop is he uses a lot of hookers because he's trying to get over the girl he's in love with, which is his partner's wife. He doesn't want to cause problems for her, so he's trying to stay out of that. But he's got a gambling problem. He drinks a lot, but he's not really into heavy drugs, but he will smoke a little pot. He'll take a little acid with a hooker or something, to have a partying weekend or something like that, but he's not really into anything heavy duty. He might take a pill to drink with some whiskey kind of thing, but he's not, he doesn't have to have any of that kind of shit, but he is hooked on alcohol and gambling. He's got a gambling problem. But he's pretty much a badass and can take care of himself. So the people he owes, they really don't want to fuck with him because he's kind of a badass too. That's one of the reasons why his partner picked him, because he protects his partner, because the bad cop protects the good cop to the authorities. So the good cop is beholden to the bad cop. The good cop looks up to him. Even though he's a dickhead to everybody else, the bad cop treats the good cop better than anybody else does. So the good cop loves him. And that just makes the story even more intense, because he's super guilty about fucking his wife, but he's in love with her. And he's also guilty about leaving them. He's guilty because he's not in his kid's life. So he follows his kid around like behind the shadows kind of thing. And he always shows up, kind of save the kid from getting in super bad trouble, and changes shit kind of thing for the kid, legally, to keep him from getting, things like that. The kid's not a super bad kid, but he acts out because he's got a really evil father that's super, also never physically abusive, but very mentally abusive to him. And so anyway, good cop shoots his partner accidentally, in his mind. So now he's got the guilt of that. All the people that they work with in the police department hate the cop that got shot, and they're all kind of like, well, too bad you didn't kill him, kind of thing. That's their attitude. That's how bad they hate the guy. So the good guy is dealing with that. He shot his partner, and then through this whole time, the good cop is also trying to concentrate on catching the murderer. So as he's going through the old crime scenes and all the evidence now, the bad cop is in coma, so he's not able to keep the good cop off the trail now. And he's not getting the crumbs this other guy was throwing him. He's going in through the bad cop's records now, trying to find evidence that might have been missed. And he starts finding evidence showing up of him being the killer. Well, he knows he's not the killer. The good cop knows he's not the killer, but the evidence is showing that it is. And when the bad cop wakes up, whatever brain damage he has destroyed the part of his brain that remembers him being evil. The bad cop now doesn't remember anything evil. All he remembers is he's got a family, he knows he's got a job, he knows he's a cop, he knows he was working on this murder case, but a lot of other things are really fuzzy. He doesn't remember doing anything bad ever. He doesn't remember being mean to his kids, he doesn't remember being mean to his wife. And now when he wakes up, so with all that evil part gone, just the good parts remain, and those were the parts that he used to make these other people like or love him to start with, the few people that do. So now, when he wakes up, his son's there, and he's like, damn, no hugs for your dad or nothing, and the son's like, what? In his mind, he's going, you've never hugged me before, what the fuck? So everybody's got this what the fuck moment with this guy, and he's just like this super nice, super honest, super dedicated, super cop, recovering. So as he's recovering, the good cop is starting to get jealous of everybody starting to like this guy now. Like, you hated this guy, he was a dickhead, now you're all starting to warm up to him. The wife's starting to fall in love with him again. The things that he used to fall in love with him were now really him. So she's like really starting to fall in love with him all over again. They're getting along great. And the good cop is just going down, down, down. Like, he's drinking more. The more depressed he gets about it all, but he's also happy for his friend. So, because he always just thought the guy was an asshole, not a murderer. He's happy that the guy is nice now, and he's happy that people are liking him, but he's also jealous of it in a weird way. There's a really cool little twist there that this guy's fighting with, and the whole time worried about his own son and all that kind of bullshit. Well, something happens to where the good cop is mortally wounded at the end of the story. And the story all the way through it is how this is all unraveling and coming to be. The original bad cop is now back to work, and he's earning the love of all the people around him. Like, now all the other cops are starting to like him, and that again makes the other cop kind of jealous. And this guy is the original bad cop is now bound and determined to catch this murderer. So he's looking through all this shit and looking back through all the files, and he has no memory of making the files. So now he thinks that his partner, they're starting to point at his partner, and he doesn't want it to be the good cop, but all the evidence keeps pointing towards it. So at the very end of the story, the good cop gets mortally wounded. He's laying there dying, and the bad cop's talking to him. He's like, look, all this evidence shows that you did these. He goes, please tell me you didn't do these murders. And the good cop dying confesses to his friend that he was the murderer. So it's letting his friend off the hook. And then, so he dies. Now, the end can go a couple different ways. I was thinking that the wife could find that one piece of evidence somehow, by accident, that he messed up in the one murder before he got shot. So we can bring that in there. Or and then that's where it goes out. That leaves open for a sequel. We can also, when the guy confesses, that could be just the end. So now this guy can go on and just have a regular life. Or there could be a look in his eye at the end, like, to make you have to decide, was he really evil or not? Like, maybe that was his last, he come out of his coma, maybe that was his last big play. But I really don't want that ending. I would much rather have him be where he doesn't remember being a bad guy. That way it kind of goes out. You can leave it to where that would be one of the endings, where he lives happily ever after kind of thing. I would like to leave some doubt to whether he was or not, but I'm not sure yet. But anyway, that's the first basic idea of it. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any questions.